Just outside your window when flying, the air pressure is so low your body cannot survive unprotected. Yet, inside the cabin, you are breathing comfortably like you are just a few thousand feet above sea level. But that comfort doesn't come for free. You see, every time a plane flies, its body is being pulled apart from the inside, slowly and surely. And that invisible damage nearly ended the jet's age before it even began. You see, an airplane fuselage is not just a tube for passengers, it's a pressure vessel. On the ground, the pressure inside and outside the plane are more or less the same. But at cruising altitude, the outside pressure collapses while the inside is artificially held higher so that Homo sapiens can survive. And that difference creates a force, a very big one that pushes every square meter of fuselage skin outward. In other words, the plane literally inflates, not enough for you to see, but enough to be taken into consideration. Then the plane lands, the pressure is released, the fuselage relaxes. That is one cycle. Now repeat that, say twice a day, every day for decades, and the problem begins to take shape. One would believe that as long as stress stays below the metal's failure point, it won't fail. And that works if the load never changes. But pressurization is cyclic. Metal doesn't need to be overloaded to fail, it just needs to be annoyed repeatedly. Each pressure cycle opens microscopic cracks, closes them, sharpens their tips, pushes them a tiny bit longer. No one hears or sees it, but the structure remembers. In the early 1950s, the future arrived early. The de Havilland Comet was launched as the world's first commercial jet airliner. It was faster than prop planes, higher flying, smoother, a technological flex by Britain. But then, it started breaking up mid-air and falling out of the sky. This wasn't a case of engine problem or pilot error. Instead, the investigation uncovered a hidden killer, metal fatigue, growing from a small cutout in the roof of the pressure cabin. You see, a pressurized fuselage wants to be smooth, perfectly smooth so that the force of pressurization can be equally spread around it. Sharp corners break that dream. Any sharp cutouts, say windows, arches, and antenna openings, become a stress concentrator where microscopic cracks formed. And to make things worse, some rivet holes on the Comet had been punched rather than drilled, leaving microscopic flaws from the day the aircraft was built. Each flight grew them a little more until eventually one or more cracks hit a critical length. At that point, pressurization didn't just stress the fuselage, it ripped it open explosively, not once but twice, resulting in a total of 56 fatalities. To understand what was going on, an entire Comet fuselage was submerged in a massive water tank so that when it ruptured, the water would absorb the energy and prevent total fragmentation, allowing investigators to see exactly where the crack began. Pressurization and depressurization were stimulated multiple times until eventually the fuselage came apart. The crack, you see, began at a small radio antenna cutout in the roof, exactly where fatigue theory said steers would concentrate. That tank experiment permanently changed how aircraft are designed. Every flight takes the aircraft one cycle closer to structural death. This is known, this is tracked. Airframes have cycle limits, inspection schedules, retirement plans. Planes don't fly forever. They age, they get tired, and eventually they are quietly removed from service before fatigue wins. This lesson carries into rockets, spacecrafts, submarines, pressure tanks, bridges, wind turbines. Basically, any system that experiences repeated stress carries this risk. Cracks are inevitable, but the structures are designed to fail slowly and gracefully. When you sit inside a plane at 35,000 feet, you are trusting material science, fracture mechanics, decades of crash investigations, and engineers who assume everything will eventually break. Thanks for staying to the end. If you enjoyed this video, do click on the one on your screen right now to learn how a gentle wind brought down a brand new bridge in 1940. Do stay positive out there.